Hello my friends, John LaRuffa here with another straight up solo, and in this episode we're going to be taking a look at Bonfire and its applicability for you as a solo only game. Let's take a look and see what it looks like when it plays, and hopefully this video will help you decide, is it something that you want to do, something that you want to buy for the solo game. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is what the game looks like when I've just completed playing a solo game. So my board is over here and the opponent's board is over here. The opponent is very easy to control. You control them with this deck of cards here, and basically you cycle through the deck, you flip it over, it tells you an action. A lot of times it shows a card over here which you will go ahead and flip over, one of these cards that has the blue background to kind of give you the idea of the, let's just call it the item that this matches. So for instance, this card says, get rid of the glare here, go ahead and take one of these top tiles here that matches this. So you look over here in the spot, should have dealt this out, and you say, oh look, this one matches that leaf. I'll go ahead and take that and I'll put it in the opponent's board where it goes, according to the rules. Very simple to execute. And they basically have cards in here that execute all the main actions of the game. Getting those portal things, getting the, that's not the portals, those are the crystals, getting the portals around here, choosing cards just for the score, and the fact of scoring them at the end, not necessarily using all the bonuses, and getting the bonfire tiles out here, which are the main way that you score points. Well, one of the main ways you score points in this game. So the AI is completely controlled through this deck of cards. There is no difficulty scaling the AI. It just is what it is, although you can give yourself a handicap or vice versa. I find the AI to be incredibly challenging. I've tried very hard to beat it, and I have yet to do so. I think I may have beaten it once. But the point is it's very good, very hard as it is. So if anything, you may want to handicap down. But I don't know, I enjoy the challenge. So let's talk about the gameplay itself. In this game, you are going to be taking on your turn any one of these different types of actions, okay? These are the meat and potatoes of the actions you can take, and then there's also some smaller ones where you play these tiles out on your board, or you put down, you actually activate a condition that you've accomplished on your bonfires. So each of these bonfires has some kind of condition. Like this one says, in order to flip it, you have to have 4 gold nuggets. Well, I got 4 gold nuggets, so on my turn, I could flip this over, essentially scoring myself the 4 points for the game. And then I get to take this little guy who would be next to it if I hadn't already done it. Let me just move him here. And I get to place him on one of these spots out here, taking either a point or doing the bonus action. Okay, and the bonus actions vary from basically doing something kind of at max capacity or maximum strength, I'll say, in this game, whether it's moving to whatever island you want, or getting one of these tiles, or moving this wherever you want it to go, or possibly getting any one of these for free, or moving one of your I don't know what they're called, elders, I can't remember, but one of these guys as far as you want on the track around here. So it's very solid, very strong when you are able to flip those over, plus they count for points. Okay, so that's the main kind of, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to accomplish these things, okay, to actually score points in this game. So how do I get those? Well, I get those by moving my ship around the board and fulfilling the conditions at the isle, all right? And how do I do all of these things? I use these little tokens in here where each type of action costs 1 or more types of tokens, and then sometimes the action requires additional things. So for instance, if I wanted to get this contract or bonfire, pardon me, over here, I'd have to spend one of these little ship guys to move my ship 1 space. I can spend more of them if I want to move more than 1 space. And then I'd have to be able to have one of these items or a gold nugget. So let's say I had one of these, I could spend this, plus I could spend one of these 2 things that I have here. And let's say I had a flower, I would take this and I would replace this with that. Okay, and I'd have to spend that blue flower, or again, the gold for the wild. And then I would take this bonfire and put it in any one of my open spots over here, and then wait till I have the opportunity to fulfill the condition to be able to flip it over. Now, the place where the bonfire goes, if I can couple it up to a similar colored gate over here, or crystal, that helps for scoring points at the end of the game. If I can get a person here, one of these little worshiper guys, all the way over here and into this spot, and have cleared off that guy, I can score a lot of points in the game, in this case 7, if these conditions are met. If this guy is standing here, if I have this flipped over, and he's actually next to, you know, one of those spots that's been activated, then I can get that amount. So in general, that's how you're gathering these things. There's also cards you can get by trading in items and those card tiles that could help you score immediate points during the game, or give you some kind of benefit that helps you enhance your abilities throughout the game. Then there's this little mirror here that blasts bonfire goodness in one of these directions. And when you point it, you spend these types of tiles to move it around. And when you point it, you can take one of these portals, one of these areas over, or one of these items over here, basically 2 out of the 3. So I could take an item, I could take a token, I could take a portal, 2 out of 3. And the way the portals work is you have to start on the far side of your board and start putting them in, and the shapes have to match. So for instance, my next one here would have been a square. I'd have to be able to take this square, luckily there would be one, and I'd be able to put that there, like so. And then that would help me score points at the end of the game. And also, then I would get a choice of either a ship tile or one of those items. And again, those items are useful for conditions over here, or getting more of the actual things that you need, the bonfires, or being able to pay for the costs of the cards. Okay, so that's that part. There's also lots of different conditions. So if I max out anything in this game, I will be able to put down one of these neutral guys, take the bonus like I would my own, and then at the end of the game, I'd score more points in that regard. What happens when you run out of these tiles? That's when you can put these down. When you put those down, you put them next to other tiles on the board, trying to make chains. And basically, let's say I was to put this down here, I would be able to get one of each of these that is in the tile I put down, plus any additional one that matches the color. So for instance, that would be a very strong move. I'd be able to get 4 purple and 4 red of those tiles, plus the one tile right there, Mr. Worshipper over here. And then I'd be able to get those, and that would help me stack a lot of actions together for my turn. So that pretty much goes through all the different aspects of what you're trying to do in this game. You are basically, it's like a series of interconnected mechanisms, okay? And it's a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy the different choices you can make. It feels a little bit overwhelming at first, but then the turns go by so fast, you start to really be able to understand, okay, this relates to this, relates to this. And, you know, the AI here with these cards is extremely easy to execute. That's one of the best things I think about this, is that for a relatively medium to medium heavy game with lots of different choices for you, the AI is extremely simple and very challenging to do. There's also a bit of race against the clock, because basically you end, once the 7th guy is put out over here, and I have a bunch out here because I packed a lot at the end, but once that happens, you start a countdown, and you basically have 5 more rounds, and then the game's over. Or if he's gone through his deck 4 times, then the game will immediately end. And so there is a time crunch pressure to this game. It does not feel like a game where you can just maximize everything and it gives you that kind of flabby and bloated feel. No. It is definitely tight. So you for sure have to focus your efforts. And it's hard to focus, hence my poor scores probably, because I get off the track of what I really want to do in some cases, and then don't quite accomplish all that I hope to. So that is the overview of the game. Let me tell you my pluses and minuses about the solo aspect and the solo play itself. Okay, so when it comes to Bonfire, I'll give you my negatives first, I'll say. Solo, again, solo only. All right, from a solo standpoint, the AI deck, while it's very easy, is is fairly repeatable. The same things it's going to do every game is not going to surprise you. It's going to be the same kind of thing over and over again. It doesn't really matter, but it basically just takes a kind of an even distribution of the actions over and over. Now, the card you flip up does introduce variety. So sometimes it wants to take cards or take tiles or take this or that, and it just doesn't line up with the actual card you flip over, and so nothing happens. And so that gives it some variety. But this isn't a game where, you know, one time you're going to see the AI do this types of actions, the other time it's going to do that types. No. It's kind of, it gives you a full tactical experience every time, and that's just kind of the way it's going to go. So that might be a negative to you. I don't really mind it, but I can see that some people are like, okay, well, that's kind of the same thing over and over again. That is the only real negative I could say about the AI experience, because I think everything, or the solo experience, I think everything else is extremely positive. Number one, this game gives you a very puzzly feel, which I like. I like that kind of puzzly feel of trying to solve this, maximize that. This game sort of is a min-max type of thing, because you're trying to squeeze as much efficiency out of each turn and do things at the right time with the right timing to minimize the cost, which I think is a lot of fun. Also, again, you can completely focus on your strategy. Not that the AI doesn't interfere. He absolutely does interfere with you, especially taking things you might want, moving that dial around, which will hopefully help you point at the portals you need. There is actually a lot of interference with the AI, which is good. But you are not sitting there trying to negotiate complex decision trees or, okay, what are the conditions here and what is that? No, it's very simple for you to play against this, because it just tells you exactly what to do and keeps the decision making very, very streamlined. Basically flipping a card and doing what it says. So that's great. And that's good, because this game is all about trying to stay focused on your own strategy. Okay, so I think that's really, really helpful. The other thing I like about the game is that even though it's a very tactical experience, you certainly do have some strategies. You can say, I'm going to really focus on maximizing this and this, so I can try to score this way. And so you can kind of set your strategic design at the beginning of the game and try to play it out, which I like. I think that's cool. The board, the information, all that is kind of fully open to you when you start. You see just about everything besides the cards that will be cycling through down there for your bonuses. But besides that, you can kind of see, okay, well, this is how it's set up. Let me give this a try and see if I can get a high score and beat this AI. AI is, of course, very difficult. And even kind of alludes to that in the rules, where the more you lose to him, then his handicap goes down, and the more you win, his handicap goes up. And I guess that's fun. I don't really mind. I'm just trying to play for, try to beat him and improve my overall score. I find this game very engaging and very enjoyable. It's also pretty quick. I can easily do a solo game in under an hour. Which, under an hour, maybe a little more with setup and takedown, but that's it gets that Euro itch. It scratches it quite well, which I enjoy. So hopefully, based on what you have seen here, you can make a decision if this is something that you will like or not. The funny thing is that it is not a point salad type of game. There are a lot of ways to score points, but I don't feel like it's point salad, because you do get lots of different categories, but it's not like anytime I do things in this game, I can eventually have a good score. No, you have got to maximize certain things to get really good scores. Otherwise, you just have a mediocre score, and you won't win. So I like that about this. So hopefully that you appreciated the overview, the video. Thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, as it really helps me out. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.